Hello everyone and welcome to our UC Berkeley virtual visit. We're going to wait a few seconds here to make sure that everyone is able to enter the webinar. All right, hello everyone and welcome to our UC Berkeley virtual visit. My name is Morgan and I'm going to be the moderator today. I am from Modesto, California in the Central Valley and I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. I'm a double major in history and political science and I'm about to be a third year, so a junior. I want to thank all of you for being here today and take a few moments to thank you for tuning in to our virtual visit, especially because of everything that is happening in the world right now. We as a community want you to know that we acknowledge and recognize the challenges and pain that is stemming from everything that is going on, and we stand with you. I want to invite you to read our Chancellor's message on news.berkeley.edu to learn more about how we as a community are responding and what we stand for. So again, thank you all so much for being here, and we're going to get started with our virtual visit today, starting with some housekeeping. So today's presentation is going to be an hour long in total, but 40 minutes of which will be a PowerPoint presentation, followed by a live Q&A portion. So please type your questions into the Q&A function. We have disabled the chat, but we have a slew of campus ambassadors on the back end ready and excited to answer your questions. We're going to be having several polls going throughout the presentation, so please be sure to answer those. And this will be recorded, but there will be a different version available on our website and also on our YouTube channel if you'd like to come back and review anything that we have told you. This is mostly going to be a campus overview from the student perspective, talking about campus culture and student life, so there won't be any specific information on admissions or financial aid. And as I mentioned before, we will be ending with a Q&A, and so we're going to do our best to answer all of your questions, so please make sure to keep typing them in the Q&A function below. So with all that being said, we're going to introduce our guides and get ready for a virtual visit.
Hi everybody, welcome to UC Berkeley. My name is Seneca and I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. I am a rising junior from Goleta, California, which is on the central coast next to the beach, super fun. And I'm studying molecular and cell biology with a minor in bioengineering. A few of the things I'm involved in on campus are Greek life, bioprinting at Berkeley, which is a student-run organization that does research on 3D printing human tissues. So super cool, super sci-fi, love to see it. I'm also involved in the dance community here at Cal. I do research, as I mentioned, and I am on the Cal Greeks Alcohol Task Force, which aims to promote safe partying and alcohol consumption practices in the Greek community.
Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Eric. I'll be the other campus ambassador today. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm originally from Fresno, California, and it's where I'm giving this tour from. I'm a rising senior at Cal studying society and environment with a specialization in U.S. environmental policy and management. A little bit about my involvement. I'm in the UC Rally Committee, which is one of our spirit groups here on campus, preserving the history and traditions of our university. I'm part of Golden Bear Orientation, our orientation program here. I'm part of Cal Student Philanthropy, which focuses on raising awareness for philanthropy for our campus, which funds a lot of things on our campus. And I'm also part of Epsilon Eta, which is our environmental professional fraternity on campus.
All right, so once again, we just want to extend a super warm welcome to all of you who are joining us here. You just saw a poll pop up on your screen asking, who are you? We just want to get a sense of who is in our audience today so that we can really give you the best virtual visit possible. We do regret that you can't be joining us on our physical campus today, but we urge you to come visit after the lockdown and shelter in place is over so that you can see all of this beautiful stuff in person. On your screen right now, there are a few different landmarks from our campus. In the center, you've got the Campanile, which is our clock and bell tower. It is perhaps the most iconic Cal landmark that we have. We also have photos of California Memorial Stadium in the top left and Memorial Glade in the top right, as well as our 150 Years of Women logo on the bottom left, because this year, 2020, marks the 150th year that women are admitted to our university, coming only 2 years after the 150th anniversary of UC Berkeley as a whole. So I think that that is pretty cool. And it looks like we have mostly high school seniors joining us today, so welcome. We are super psyched that you're getting so involved in researching college this early, and we hope that we can give you some helpful info today. Just a quick overview of a few of the things we're going to cover on this virtual visit. We will start with an overview of Berkeley, then we'll dive into academics, housing and dining, health and safety, student resources, student life, athletics, libraries and research, and then campus highlights. And we'll try to provide a fun mix of statistics and facts, all that good stuff, and anecdotes from our years spent on this awesome campus and part of this school.
Great. Thank you, Seneca. And then we'll just take it away, starting off with our history. If you didn't know already, the University of California is just one of 9 UC schools. So you've heard of UCLA, UC Davis, but Berkeley was actually the first of them. We were just the University of California in our founding in 1868, which is why you hear our names, UC Berkeley, Cal, University of California, sometimes UCB, although we don't really like that, so don't say UCB, please. But we were the first, so we get to just say Cal or University of California. Our mascot is a California golden bear. You'll see our golden bear mascot, Oski, running around campus, but our mascot is a golden bear modeled after what a grizzly bear is. There's not actually golden bears. They're not like a real species of animal. Our campus is fairly large. We're a very large public university. We have just over 31,000 students as undergraduates and just under 12,000 graduate students on our campus. Although you wouldn't really know that there's 40,000 students on our campus, we're never always on campus at the same time, but we still are a pretty large public university in that sense. So these are a couple icons of campus that I would have shown you if we were in person, and I want to show you virtually. So like Seneca mentioned, Sather Gate. Sather Gate is one of our main landmarks on campus. That's where you would have taken your picture to prove that you came to Berkeley and came to visit. It used to be the old entrance to your university. It was actually where a cable car system ended to drop off students at UC Berkeley and then go right back into the East Bay. And now it's just a beautiful landmark that welcomes students every single day to our campus. In the middle, you'll see Sturdy the Bear. Sturdy the Bear is just one of over 20 bear statues that are spread throughout our campus. Sturdy is the biggest and most ferocious of them, and he guards our California Memorial Stadium. And he is a lot more ferocious than the picture that you see in the bottom corner, Oski. So Oski is the one that's actually going out to our sporting, different campus events, roaming around campus just throughout the week. And he's much more huggable. People like him. And yeah, he's a favorite amongst Cal fans for sure. And then right above him, you'll see our wonderful seal, the University of California seal, with our founding date of 1868. These seals, there's 3 spread out around our glade, known as Memorial Glade, which we'll talk about later. And it's a campus superstition that while you're a student here, if you step on that, you just completely risk your chance of ever getting a 4.0 GPA. You just will tank your finals for that semester. So you'll see groups of students actively avoiding that area as they walk past it. And if you see someone just walk right by it, it really just really hurts my heart and I feel for them. So if you're ever on our campus, when you get the chance to visit, do not step on it because it still affects you even if you're not a Berkeley student. And then just a little bit about our Berkeley culture. We are a university of over 150 years now. We have a really amazing legacy. With that, every single Berkeley student would be considered a change maker. If they're not already, if they don't believe that, they will believe that by the time that they get out of Cal. That started from our legacy and with the free speech movement. The free speech movement, if you didn't know, it's a movement that happened across a lot of college campuses in the United States in the 60s to fight for political activism for their students on their campus. You'll see a picture right there just under Sather Gate of students marching for free speech on campus. And that led to what we have now on our campus, allowing our students to actually voice their political opinions, use their voice for what they believe should be changed. They don't just take the status quo. We challenge what's established and do what we think is right or better than what the norm is, which is why we pride ourselves in that being something that our students are or turn into when they come into Berkeley. You'll have a lot of students think about like protests happening every day just because of that history that we have. That's not something that really happens. If you're really passionate about something, you'll go out and fight for it. If you don't necessarily believe in what some other students are fighting, you don't necessarily have to participate, but it's just something that always amazes me, that people are so passionate about something that they're willing to go out and fight for it. With that, we have a big belief in community. So we love to give back to our community. We have a public service center that's located in our student union. The public service center can pair you with different ways to give back to Berkeley, give back to California, give back to different parts of the world. We're actually the #1 university for sending students out to the Peace Corps, which is really awesome. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can do that. And all in the name of compassion, passion, and social justice. And with that, it comes our tradition of diversity and excellence. This year, we're actually really proud. This new incoming class is one of our most diverse classes since like the 80s in Berkeley. The whole UC system is doing a whole lot better, but especially this year, our admissions office focused a lot on trying to recruit students that look like what the state of California and what the world looks like. And they've done an incredible job. You can read more about that on our Berkeley News website. And then just a couple more pictures. Like I said, students fighting for their right to whatever they want to fight for. That's on the steps of Sproul Hall, or Mario Savio steps, that's what they're called. And then on those same steps is where we have our noon rallies before all our big football games and other big sporting events. So that's a multi-use facility, whether it's for political activism or just a rally or dance event on campus. In the middle, you'll see a couple opportunities for research on our campus. We're one of the best universities for startups. We've had a bunch of people graduate from Berkeley and go on to start their own startups. We have Skydeck on campus, which is one of our startup incubators, which is really awesome. And then next to that, you'll see a picture of Oski with some of our Cal students, part of the rally committee. That's actually me right behind Oski. This is like my claim to fame. This was sent out on a mailer to parents, which I really loved. So yeah. And then right below it, you'll see from the Campanile, we had a couple of dancers celebrating the 100 years of our Campanile, which is pretty awesome.
Awesome. Yes, as Eric mentioned, we have a lot of school spirit, and that really shines through in everything that we do. I definitely love seeing Oski around campus. He's great. He will always come give you a hug, give you a thumbs up, high five you. Really good time. However, we also do school. We go to school. It's great. Academics. Woohoo. We have a fantastic academic programs, because honestly, where do I start? We have too many to count, but we organize those into 5 undergraduate colleges. And so those are listed on the screen. There is the College of Letters and Science, the Rausser College of Natural Resources, the College of Environmental Design, the College of Chemistry, and the College of Engineering. So when you apply to Berkeley, you apply directly into one of those 5 colleges, and you are admitted into one of those 5 colleges. And so there's a poll that just popped up on your screen asking what you are interested in. Please let us know. We super want to make sure we get all of that good info to you. And yeah, a few good things to note about our colleges are that out of the 5, chemistry and environmental design are the 2 colleges that declare your major upon admission. However, the College of Engineering has an undeclared pathway, but it's pretty competitive. And for more information, I highly recommend that you go to our engineering tour, which is Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. You can find the link on the website you used to register for this tour. You can learn more about the engineering college there, but we do recommend that you apply to the college that you think your interests lie in most, because transferring between colleges is possible, but it can be difficult, and it is by no means guaranteed. So for example, if you're like me and you're super interested in biological sciences, which it looks like 46% of you are, please apply to the College of Letters and Science or the Rausser College of Natural Resources. Both have incredible biology programs, and you can learn more about those at biology.berkeley.edu/undergrad. Alrighty. Wow, we've got a lot of awesome biological sciences and really interests all over the board today, so we will be sure to tackle everything for you. First off, we're going to discuss the College of Letters and Science. And so this is our largest college. It houses 3/4 of our undergraduate population, so a very large number that I cannot calculate in my head. We have 5 divisions within that: Arts and Humanities, biological sciences, mathematical and physical sciences, social sciences, and undergraduate studies. And my favorite part of being in the College of Letters and Science is our breadth requirements. And so these are 7 classes that you take in all of the different subject areas listed there, but also in philosophy and values, in international studies, I believe. And those are really just to expose you to a variety of different ways of thinking, different ideas, just really helps you be a well-rounded learner, citizen, person. It's a really great way to discover new things. For example, I've taken a ton of French and Italian literature classes that I otherwise would not take for my major because, again, biology. And so I've really been able to discover a lot of awesome new things through that 7-course breadth requirement. And it's a great way to discover your favorite classes. I know many people like those classes often because it's something that is unexpected, something new. We have 80+ majors in the College of Letters and Science as well. So no matter what, you will discover something in here that you like or that you are interested in. And it's really nice because all students actually come in undeclared. So you write your intended program of study on your application, but it's not guaranteed and it isn't declaring your major. Rather, you come in undeclared and you have a few semesters to just really discover what you're interested in through those breadth courses. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and something that I love about those breadth courses that Seneca was just talking about, they're really across a lot of our colleges, and you can take them pass no pass, meaning you can take them not for a letter grade. So if you pass them, you fulfill that requirement in that college or for your major, or usually not your major, but breadth requirements. And then if you that way it doesn't cause any stress if you're like wanting to try something new, but you don't want it to affect your GPA or how much effort you put into the rest of your classes that are actually for your major, which I really enjoyed. That's how I took a music class, and I thought was going to be super easy. Turned out it wasn't. It was still really fun, but I took a pass no pass and I passed it to get that requirement out from my breadth requirements. But now we have Rausser College of Natural Resources. That is my home college for society and environment. I really love CNR. It's a really small community in the College of Natural Resources. I mean, it gets bigger every year, but still pretty small compared to, let's say, LNS, which is the biggest college on our campus. Every program in CNR is environmentally focused. So things like environmental science, environmental economics, interdisciplinary studies, energy, forestry, and biological sciences. One thing that I really like is our interdisciplinary studies program. If you can prove that there's something that you're really passionate about that really fits into the mission of what the College of Natural Resources is, you can basically create your own curriculum as long as it's obviously following certain parameters, but you're doing this with your advisor, and then you basically created your own major and can go off and do whatever you wanted with that to better the world. Every College of Natural Resources is focused on sustainability and social justice, and you'll see that through our CNR sponsors, student organizations, through the direct mission of our college, and basically every single thing that our professors are doing outside of their teaching position.
Awesome. The College of Natural Resources is an incredible place. I have a lot of friends. Actually, my current roommate is an environmental economics and policy major within the Rausser College of Natural Resources, and she really cannot run out of good things to say about it. It's a super cool place. Vitamins B, E, and K were synthesized there. So next time you're eating your vitamin-full granola bar, if you see those vitamins on the label, just think Berkeley, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Our next college is our smallest college. It's got about 650 students. It is the College of Environmental Design, and I really love this college because it has a lot of hands-on learning opportunities. It has 3 departments, so it's got architecture, landscape architecture, and city and regional planning. So a lot of their mission is to craft ecologically sustainable and resilient, prosperous and fair, healthy and beautifully built environments. And that really shows through in all of the project-based learning that happens here. This photo is of Worcester Hall, which is where the college is housed. And on those upper floors, the top part kind of looks like a little bit of a dragon, where there's a little protrusion there looking like the snout. In those upper floors, that is where all the studio spaces are. And so students can go up there, they can build architectural models, they really get a hands-on learning experience with drafting and all sorts of techniques that they will use later in their careers, which is super cool. And one of the things that I'm super psyched about with the College of Environmental Design is that Irving Morrow is actually an alumni of this college, and he is the architect that designed the Golden Gate Bridge, as well as Julia Morgan. And Julia Morgan is a very renowned first female licensed architect in California. She actually built the house that I live in off campus. And so you are really following a legacy of excellence if you're in this college.
Yeah, I love the environmental design college. I'm actually still trying to pursue a minor within environmental design and city and regional planning. I like Seneca said, the experiential learning that you do is really cool. And it's really different from what you would just like think when you're just like thinking of someone designing something on like CAD or something for architecture. It's much more than that, which I really love. And we have the College of Chemistry, one of our smaller colleges, just about 1,000 students, give or take, every year. 2 departments, that's it. Chemistry and chemical and biomolecular engineering. It's very small, separate from the rest of the sciences. And I think because of that, it's consistently ranked #1 globally for their chemistry programs. And again, it's one of the colleges that you do have to directly apply into. So if you're really interested in chemistry and you want to be in the College of Chemistry, you'd want to do that right from the beginning. There's also a chemistry program in our College of Letters and Sciences, but that in there you would be getting a Bachelor's of Arts versus a Bachelor's of Science, because in LNS you are doing the full 7 breadth course requirements, which the College of Chemistry does not have, which is why it's a BS. A couple cool things about chemistry. Our first dean, Gilbert Lewis, he discovered, well, he didn't discover, he was in his class teaching chemistry, and he was having difficulty explaining how the different atoms and electrons work across different elements. So, he just casually went back into his office, came back out to his students with the Lewis dot structure, and now that's how we use what we used to teach chemistry to everyone when they first learned chemistry. So you might remember it from your sophomore chemistry class. And then just 13, but probably over pretty soon. Chemical elements have been discovered on our campus with our partnership with the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab that's built up into the Berkeley Hills. You can see it from our campus. Things like berkelium, californium, lawrencium have all been discovered on our campus. And something that I always like to know is that Stanford still doesn't have a Stanfordium, or UCLA a UCLAium. So I think we're pretty cool. We have berkelium and californium right on our campus.
Definitely. I love the College of Chemistry. As a biology major, I take a lot of classes in other colleges, so I took a ton of chemistry, and it is really a great place. They have excellent resources for peer tutoring. If that's something you're interested in, you can always go and get help there for free, and they know exactly what you're doing. It's really great. Our next college is the College of Engineering. All of these programs are very nationally and globally renowned. It is such a cool place. There are 7 departments: bioengineering, civil and environmental engineering, electrical engineering and computer science, also known as EECS, industrial engineering and operations research, material sciences, mechanical engineering, and nuclear engineering. And so lots of things to choose from, lots of ways to discover your interests. This college, we do recommend that you apply directly to it if you're interested in any of these fields, because it is quite competitive. It has about a 9.5% acceptance rate for the overall college, and the programs are really awesome. There are a lot of lab classes, lots of hands-on learning, and lots of different internship opportunities with different places in the Bay Area, because we are the #1 contributor of interns to the Silicon Valley region, so pretty fun. And there is a really unique program that's actually just recently started in the College of Engineering, which is called the Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology Program, aka MET. And this is a really cool program that is a dual degree program that combines an engineering degree from the College of Engineering, as well as a business degree from the Haas School of Business, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So you earn these 2 degrees in 4 years, and because of all the requirements, there's a lot of technical stuff associated with this. We do require that you apply to this program as a senior in high school. So when you are an incoming freshman, you start the program. It's pretty selective, but never fear. If you're not admitted, you will be considered for admission to the College of Engineering. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check it out. We also have our engineering tour, just one more plug for that. It's Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. and you can learn all about all of the different majors within this college, the different buildings. It's a really great way to get a more in-depth overview of this college.
Something I really like about the College of Engineering is all their competition programs that they have. So the different departments have competition teams that go out and do things like building a bridge for a steel bridge, which happens inside of Davis Hall, which is really engineering bay on campus. So those teams go on to compete at the state level nationally and are actually come back with some wins every so often, which is really cool. And so now we've talked about our undergraduate programs, but let's say you wanted to stay past that and you want to go into our undergraduate programs, or you're not even interested in undergrad and you're interested in grad after wherever you do your undergrad. Berkeley has a lot of programs that offer amazing things for our students. One of them that is really important to know is our Haas School of Business that also has our undergraduate program. So if you want to study business at Berkeley, the only way you can do that is through the Haas School of Business undergraduate business program, which you would apply after your second or at your second year. Latest I believe you can do is during your junior year. But if you get into that program, you're studying at one of the best public business schools, but one of the best public business schools in the nation. You are asked to submit your extracurriculars, something that you're passionate about. It asks you about the mission of the college, of the program, and if they like you, you'll get an interview, and then you'll go on to be a student as a Haas undergraduate student. It's basically another mini application that you have to do. And even if you're not admitted, if you wanted to study business, a lot of students are still able to take classes at the Haas School of Business, whether they end up studying economics, political science, something completely random, out of the ordinary like chemistry, but want to take business classes, you can still do that. I've taken a couple classes at the Haas School of Business because I just love the classes that they have and they're really fun for me. And again, I wasn't a student, I just got on. Some of them do have reserved seating for students in the college, but if you get off the wait list, then you're one of the lucky few that gets to take a class at the best business school in the nation. And then we have with that our global management program. So a global management program, kind of similar to the MET program you'd apply when you're coming into Berkeley, and you actually start your first semester in London. So you'll come in the summer, you'll take summer classes in Berkeley, then your fall we'll ship you out to London with about a cohort of 90 or so students, and you're studying at one of our UC centers in London. Then you come back in the spring, and that's when you start your full semester at Berkeley. And again, you're a business student in the Haas School of Business, and you are doing the study abroad option, and you're now in this specialized cohort of people that you'll have for the 4 years that you're in Berkeley in Haas. But besides Haas, we have our School of Education, our School of Information, Berkeley Law, which is really well known, our School of Social Welfare, our School of Optometry, which has our eye care clinic also on campus, our School of Journalism, our School of Public Health, which is also one of the sponsors for the Public Health program for undergraduate students, and our School of Public Policy that offers a minor for our undergraduate students as well.
Yeah, I just want to echo taking classes in other colleges and even other schools is super cool. I'm taking personal financial management at Haas School of Business this fall, and I'm super excited to learn how to finance because I don't know anything about that yet, but we're going to learn. It's going to be great. And next up, we're going to talk about structure and class sizes. Now, this is the nitty-gritty what you're going to be doing on a daily basis as a Berkeley student, so it's super important to know. Usually our classes are broken up into two components. We have our lecture components, which is pictured on the screen, but also, fun fact, you are experiencing something like what a Berkeley lecture would be like right now, because currently I'm taking summer classes. They're administered through Zoom, and it's very similar. It's very cool. You can ask questions to the professor and they'll answer them live. A lot of them are even in lecture halls, just with a lot of cameras, and they're all mic'd up as if they were on stage. It is a pretty cool experience, and I find that it makes me a lot more bold, and I'm more likely to ask questions and understand the subject material more because I'm not in front of all of my peers, which is kind of cool. We also have discussion sections, which are taught by graduate student instructors in the field that your class is in, and that's really helpful because those are really to just review and solidify your understanding of the material. So you might go over problem sets, you might do a lab, you might do practice tests, that sort of thing. It's really a place to ask questions and to understand the lecture material to its fullest. We also have office hours, which all instructors are required to have, which is where your professor, your graduate student, your instructor will sit on Zoom or in their office, and you can go in, ask them questions, get help, or even just chat with them. I used to go to my chemistry professor's office hours literally every single day my freshman year, I would ask her questions about, how did you get to your PhD? What is teaching like at a college level? Because those are things I'm interested in, but I just had a lot of questions about how to get there. So great for professional development as well. For class sizes, we have an 18-to-1 student-faculty ratio, which is pretty awesome considering we have around 40,000 students on our campus, and 85% of our classes are fewer than 50 students. So the further up you go, really, the more specific your classes get, usually in your junior and senior year, your classes will get smaller, which makes for an awesome learning experience no matter what grade you're in. We also have the Student Learning Center, which is our tutoring program. It is a great place for essay help, for test prep, and you can go there. It's free at any time to get help with problem sets, that sort of thing, get essay help. There's even a language program that you can do there. If you speak another language and you want to practice with a native speaker, you can do that there. I honestly think that the Student Learning Center might have saved my grades in linear algebra and introductory chemistry because I had so many questions and I went in there and they were always so helpful and so nice and explained things really well. So definitely recommend checking that out.
SLC, highly recommend. And again, they're doing the same things that they're doing in person online now that we are in our virtual space at UC Berkeley. You'll see a poll now. We're going to ask you where you're coming from, just so we get a little sense of where our viewers are from. Also, as you're viewing this, I want to remind you that we have the Q&A section is completely open. We have tons of ambassadors in the back end ready to answer your questions. So don't wait until the very end to ask our questions. Ask right now so that our ambassadors can get to answering that before our tour ends. That's really important. So it looks like a lot of you are from SoCal, a lot of you also visiting from the Eastern time zone. So hello from the past. And yeah, well, switching gears now, we're going to talk about housing. So for our first year options for housing, we have a couple different things that we offer. We have the units, which are units 1, 2, and 3. And those are your traditional high-rise buildings like the picture you see right there. The picture you see right there is actually a picture of what our continuing and also family housing looks like that's spread between the units. But the picture right next to it, that's what the traditional high-rise looks like. That's all the rooms are doubles and triples. Right now, we're only going to be using them as doubles throughout the year, but usually they're doubles and triples. And then we have Clark Kerr. Clark Kerr is a little bit farther from campus, about a 10-minute walk or so. Those rooms are slightly larger, but again, it is a slightly bigger walk. And those are doubles and triples and quads if it's suite style. And then we have Blackwell Hall. Blackwell Hall is our newest, not dining hall, our newest residence hall. It's located right in front of Unit 3. It's technically the closest to like central campus that you'll get, Blackwell Hall. And those are doubles. And that has a mix of students. It's not just first year students, it has first year and continuing students. And then we have Foothill and Stern located on the hillside. Foothill is our complete suite style, so it just has 2 or 3 rooms sharing a common space and a restroom space. And then Stern is our dorm for all female identifying people. And that one, again, right next to Foothill. Yeah. So when you are a first year student, you'll be eating at the different dining halls. You'll see a picture there of Crossroads Dining. That's the shared dining hall for units 1 and 2. Although anyone can go visit it, you can go to any of the dining halls, the dining hall at Clark Kerr, the dining hall at Hillside, and then the dining hall at Unit 3. Those you can visit at any point. So every one of our housing plans has a meal plan with it, especially for our first year students. After that, you can choose whether or not you opt into that program. A couple of the benefits of living in the dorms are the resources. So one of them being the RAs, the residential assistants. They're there to help you in anything that you need. They're like your like older sibling there, telling you like what the ropes are, and they're just helping you for whatever you need. There's security in the dorm, so you have to use your ID card to tap into the dorm, tap into the elevator or stairs, and then the key to get into your room. And then at night, we have a safety monitor there to check in any guests. And then the common areas are just like large living rooms that you can use to study, hang out, or where a lot of residence hall events also happen. And for our first years, they do get priority. This year it's working a little bit different because of the COVID situation. But normal in a regular school year, our freshmen will get priority as long as they're choosing any room, any location. That's how we can guarantee you a housing offer. Other than that, you can just put your preferences for the top 4, and then as long as you leave that 4th one open. And then if you're not a first-year student and you wanted to live on campus, so we have transfer and continuing student housing. So there's campus properties, there's affiliated properties like Garden Village and Enclave that are built by third parties, and the university has contracts with for our students to live in. There's off-campus apartments like what I live in now with a group of friends. There's co-op housing where you're getting cheaper rent for everyone contributing to the household duties. And then there's Greek housing if you wanted to participate in Greek life. Greek life is not a huge part of campus, but about 13% of our students do participate in Greek life. So you'll likely know someone in Greek life, and it's also a viable housing option. And like I said, you can buy a housing meal plan if you're living in one of these off-campus options. And you'll see a couple pictures there. Martinez is the one I'd like to note there in that corner. Martinez has our transfer-specific theme program, which is really helpful for like creating that community within your first year.
Yeah, I definitely want to echo. I think one of the best parts of Berkeley is just the really wealth of different housing options we have. I personally have lived in the dorms, I have lived in Greek housing, and I'm about to live in an off-campus apartment. So there's really opportunities to explore and find what works best for you. And no matter where you're living, you have access to some fantastic health services. So we have our on-campus hub for health is the Tang Center, and it is pictured on this slide. That's the place you would go for urgent care, primary care, counseling, physical chemistry, oh goodness, physical therapy, excuse me. They also have a lab there, so if you have to get tests done, they will process it there super fast, super easy, and it is definitely a great option in case anything happens while you're at school. We do also require all of our students to have major medical insurance, and so you can opt into our student health insurance plan, conveniently named SHIP, or you can choose to have your own medical insurance, maybe through your parents, through your job, or through another agency. So definitely lots of flexibility there. We just want to make sure that everyone is cared for in case of something happening. We also have our School of Optometry, as we mentioned earlier, and within that, there is an optometry eye center that undergrad students can use. It's really awesome. You go in there and they've got eye tests, they've got different glasses and contacts that you can purchase. One really cool fact about it is that the typical optometry chart that you see when you go into an eye doctor was actually invented here at Berkeley. It's the one with the E's or the different letters. So that is really fun, top-notch optometry program. Plus the copay is only $10 for students, so very affordable. We also have our Path to Care Center, which is an amazing resource. It is both an outreach program to educate people about sexual violence and sexual harassment, but also a really, really incredible resource for survivors of those types of violence. They have all sorts of programming. They do presentations, especially in the Greek community, and really can't say enough great things about this program. We also have a lot of great mental health resources on our campus, such as our clubs, such as De-Stress with Dogs, or Llama-Palooza, which brings dogs and llamas, respectively, to campus that you can pet, hang out with, take selfies with. Really great stuff. And lastly, I'd just like to mention that we have a really great counseling and psychological services program that offers free counseling to students for a few sessions every semester. You can access that and just talk through whatever you're experiencing. So I highly, highly recommend that you check all of those resources out. We also have a lot of fantastic safety services on campus. We are in a bit of an urban environment, so it's just important to be aware of your surroundings and know what's out there. As you can see in the picture here, we have blue light poles, which are common to college campuses. They are glowing blue poles around our campus, and you push that button and it will call the University of California Police Department, which is located on our campus. Within 2 minutes, they will be there to address any concerns you might have. We also have Warn Me, which is an email and text alert system where you get little blurbs about things that are happening in the city of Berkeley. For example, when we had those power outages last year because of the fires in California, we used to get those every day just saying, hey, the power's off. And it's like, great, my lights are out. But thanks for telling me. No, seriously, it is a fantastic program, and I recommend opting into it. Lastly, we have a residence hall 3-point security system. So when you go into residence hall, you tap in at the door, you tap in to get into the elevator or stairwell, and you have a physical key to get to your room. And at night, they actually add a community service officer sitting there in your building, checking people in and checking their guests in, just to make sure that everything is secure, safe, all that good stuff. We also have a night safety shuttle that operates where there are specified routes around Berkeley. You hop on there and they can take you to the dorms, your apartment, campus, wherever you want to go. That also operates door to door after, I think it's 3 in the morning. And Bear Walk, which is the same kind of concept, except it is a dial up escort service. So there will be a community service officer, student, employee person, and they will show up at wherever you are and walk you to your destination, just to help you feel a little more safe, maybe if you're walking alone at night.
Thank you, Seneca. And just talk more about student resources, speeding up just a little bit, but again, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A and we'll get those answered. But the Student Learning Center, like we said, was located inside the Cesar Chavez Student Center. That building has a ton of student resources and located in Lower Sproul Plaza, which is right adjacent to our what is it called? Oh my God, sorry, the Martin Luther King Jr. Student Union. So the Cesar Chavez building is where our Transfer Student Center, which is a great resource for our transfer community, our Disabled Students Program for any resources that you might need for accommodation, especially through digital learning, which is really helpful right now. Our Gender Equity Resource Center, our Multicultural Community Center, which is great for resources in terms of academics, but also just creating a community on campus for our multicultural communities. That includes our Chicanx, Latinx Student Development Center, Asian Pacific American or African American, and our Native American Student Center. Those are all located within that building. And then we have our Cal Veteran Services, and then newly acquired into that building, our Undocumented Students Program that helps every single student at Berkeley succeed.
We also have a lot of awesome student life around campus. I like to say that this is, academics are important, don't get me wrong, but this is a very important part of college. You really build a community and get some close friends through just things you do around campus. We have over 1,200 student clubs. There's volunteering. We have on-campus jobs like being a campus ambassador, which is what Eric and I are. So highly recommend this job because it's super, super fun. You get to meet a lot of great people. We also have study abroad programs where you can go to different countries as part of either the Berkeley Study Abroad or the University of California Study Abroad program. So definitely great options to explore the world, and just a lot of really awesome attractions around the city of Berkeley. We've got concerts in our Greek theater, workshops, sports games, museums, hiking, easy access to San Francisco. Honestly, location, we have the best one. It is like absolutely undisputable, and there's so much to do around our campus.
To talk about athletics, you can get involved at basically every level of competition that you want to. If you're not a Division I sport athlete, like you were recruited from an NCAA point, you can participate in club and intramural. Club is where you're still wearing Cal emblem, but at a less official capacity than a Division I athlete is. Still the excitement of competitiveness, but not the same level. And then intramural, if you just want to have fun. So one group of friends in one dorm against one group of friends in another dorm, playing Frisbee, playing volleyball, that kind of thing can happen intramural. So you're still involved in your athletic things that you might have done in high school, but you're not at the same capacity or dedication that a student athlete would give. Those student athletes have their own high performance center that's located in California Memorial Stadium, our football stadium, and it's also where they have their athletic study center, which is really awesome. Those student athletes are amazing. They consistently give us wins across our sports, especially our water sports. They're some of my favorite sports. And then we have Hospavilion. Even if you're not a student athlete, you wouldn't be in Hospavilion, but Hospavilion is where we have our volleyball games, where we have our basketball games, and all our gymnastics meets. And then for everyone else, the regular gym is RSF, the Recreational Sports Facility, which you'll see in that top corner. The RSF offers virtual classes right now, especially since our gyms are closed. So if you look up rec sports at Berkeley, you can learn a lot more about what we offer for our students. And just like a quick plug about how great we are in terms of athletics, we have over 207 Olympic medals that our Cal Bears have won. For your own country, at the last Olympics, we'd be ranked like number 5 in terms of how many medals we won. So that's pretty awesome.
We also have a lot of awesome libraries and research on our campus. We are a public research university, and there are tons of opportunities for undergraduates to get involved, such as the Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program, also known as URAP, where you have a faculty mentor working on a project. There's also department-specific opportunities. So, for example, my biology department has one called Summer Undergraduate Research Program, SERP, and you can apply for a ton of awesome different projects through that, as well as just cold emailing professors and being like, hi, I'm interested in what you're doing. Do you have any need for undergraduate help? We also have a lot of awesome study spaces, including our libraries on campus. I'm a huge library nerd, and my goal is to visit all 24 of the libraries on our campus. I think I'm at 18 right now. So we have 24 official libraries hosting over 13 million volumes, and there are a ton of awesome online resources. So for example, we have a program where you can get Kindle books through the library, as well as do a lot of great research online, which has been so helpful during this ongoing pandemic to just access those resources and be able to do research projects.
Just finally, some campus highlights that we want to talk about is just nature on campus. Yes, we are in the middle of a big urban center located right across from San Francisco, but there's plenty of nature for you to explore. The Berkeley Fire Trails that are located up in the Berkeley Hills, Strawberry Creek that runs through the whole center of campus, creating a peaceful environment for you to sit down and enjoy the creek. And again, like I said, the hills on campus, where you'll find a lot of different hikes that you can do, very like easy hikes as well. And then just trees and wildlife spread throughout. You'll see a picture of the eucalyptus grove right there, but there's also redwoods along the Strawberry Creek, which is really awesome, creating a really peaceful environment all throughout campus. Yeah, so now we'll go into Q&A, I believe.
So now we're going to move on into the Q&A portion, as Eric mentioned. So thank you both of you for your absolutely wonderful presentation. Now we're going to be answering the questions from all of the attendees. So the first question we have is for Eric, and someone asks, what kind of environmental aspects makes Berkeley enticing as a place to study and live? And the person who asked this has never been to California, so they want to know what it's like to live and study here.
Yeah, so California is an awesome place, which is why I chose to stay here in California to study. But first of all, talking a little bit about the weather, Berkeley is has pretty good weather year round. Like right now it's summer, but it's still cool enough to just like sit outside and not feel like you're in the desert, which I really love. We do have a rainy season in the spring, but it's nothing that winter you can't get over, creating like some gloominess, but I enjoy it, and that's not the whole year long. And then just like to talk about like the things you can do around here in Berkeley, like just around me, you'll see like how much like nature and trees there are spread out throughout campus. This is like right across from the College of Natural Resources. But like I said, behind us are the Berkeley Hills. If you drive up like an hour from here, you can go to like John Muir Woods and like find hiking trails, explore the woods there, which is really awesome, up in the North Bay. And all of that you can like access through like different programs. So like if you wanted to be part of the outdoor society on campus, there's an outdoor club on campus and they do trips like that. They also rent out their outdoor equipment, so you don't have to like buy like a bunch of camping gear, that kind of stuff. You can rent it from someone on campus and then go and explore our beautiful state, our national parks, once it, of course, in a safe way, and once it is safer to do so. But I would say they're like, if you're going to a big school, like I wanted to go to school that's in a big city. Berkeley is that, but at the same time, it has all the nature around me as well, so you can go and explore that. Whereas it, not to say other schools don't have that, but let's say like UCLA, that's like built in a city. They don't have that much around them. That's just like the nature of where they are. Berkeley was given that, and this is why we chose this location for Berkeley, which is why I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I enjoy most about campus. You can walk around, you see creeks, you see redwood trees on campus, which are only found in certain places in the globe. You can see eucalyptus trees. Muir Woods, as Eric mentioned, is actually one of my favorite places. I had an annual pass because I loved it so much. So there are a lot of places that students can really take advantage of their time while they're in California. Our next question is for Seneca, and Brianna asks, how competitive are classes at UC Berkeley? What is the academic atmosphere like?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that I have found it to be a really collaborative atmosphere rather than competitive. I'm in a lot of those big pre-med classes. I'm not myself pre-med, but a lot of my friends are. And I have found it to be super, super collaborative. Working on group projects here is really incredible because everyone really wants to do well and really wants to make sure that they are putting effort into it. For example, right now I'm working on a group project with my nutrition class about Polish cuisine. And so it's been really fun just to see everyone be like, oh my gosh, guys, I found this awesome recipe and we can talk about it through a socioeconomic lens. And it was just a really cool experience to come to Berkeley and to realize, wow, there are people that are so passionate about what they're doing and they want to help others too. And that's really seen as well through, we have tutoring opportunities. So like I mentioned, we have the Student Learning Center and the chemistry tutoring. We also have computer science tutoring, all sorts of departmental specific opportunities where students will actively volunteer to help each other. So it's just really cool to see that on such a large scale. I think that the classes, the academic atmosphere it is rigorous for sure. This is definitely a place where the academics are hard but good. You will learn so much. You will learn so many things about how to think, how to craft arguments, all of that kind of stuff. And that really is achieved through a culture of collaboration, discussion, and honestly debate, because a lot of the greatest things that I like about Berkeley come from the fact that a lot of our instructors really encourage challenging their ideas. So if you don't agree with something they're saying, you can tell them and they'll be like, let's talk about it. So it's definitely a very cool place to be. It's very flexible and very collaborative.
Speaking of that collaborative atmosphere, the place that it's seen most, as Seneca mentioned, is in the classroom. So I want to take this opportunity to ask both of you, whoever would like to answer, what are some of your favorite classes that you have taken outside of your major? A lot of our attendees today are interested in those breadth courses that you have the opportunity to take outside of your college. And I know both of you have mentioned a few of them, but just highlight some of your favorites.
Yeah. Something I really like about my major, society and environment, is that I can take classes in a bunch of different majors. I have to, like, required, and for my upper division classes, I just need to take 4 within my college. The rest of them can be from wherever, as long as I can prove it somehow relates to my major. So they're not necessarily breadth requirements, but one class that I took for that was a public policy class, that public policy called Wealth and Poverty, that's taught by Robert Reich. Robert Reich is like a world-renowned economist and public policy expert. You'll see him whenever there's something that has to do with the economy, with labor. He was Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton, which is really awesome. He taught me this semester, and I got to learn a lot more about how, like, the economy works, how sometimes the economy doesn't work for everyone. And it was just something really that I really enjoyed. And it wasn't like he was pushing his, like, agenda at me. He was just showing me, like, how exactly it works. And I really enjoyed that. And it was sad because halfway through the semester we had to go virtual, but he just really loved teaching, and I really enjoyed that. And the other class that I like to talk about is my earthquakes class. That one is a breadth requirement that LNS has, and it's also part of the Geography and Earth Planetary Studies department. And I got to learn about earthquakes by one of, like, the world leaders in earthquake science, one of the people in charge of developing the earthquake safety app, MyShake, that alerts you, like, before an earthquake happens. That was developed here at UC Berkeley in collaboration with, like, the US Earthquake Society. I don't know what it's called. But I learned about earthquakes in my own backyard, especially since we're located right next to the Hayward Fault. It was something really fun that we got to go out and see in the field how that worked.
Yeah, I can definitely say, so my favorite class is a little different. It's actually called a DECAL, which is Democratic Education at Cal, and those are student-taught classes about all sorts of subjects, from Harry Potter to swing dancing to, I think there's one for pre-meds, there's one for molecular biology lab skills and all that good stuff. And I took one that was called Explorations in Bioprinting, and that really introduced me to the club that I'm now a part of, which is bioprinting at Berkeley. So it was basically just this cool research-based class where we went in and we did a research project over the course of one semester, introducing us to just foundational topics in material science, tissue engineering, all sorts of good stuff like that. And we really gained a lot of hands-on skills because, again, it was a laboratory class. We learned a ton about current research in the tissue engineering field, and it was just a really great way to meet a ton of new friends who were also as nerdy as I am, and to really just dive deep into this one really specific area of research. It was really fun.
I also love decals. I have taken so many, from Pixar to Marvel to Harry Potter, so it's a great way to just have fun while also taking a class. All right, we're gonna do one more quick question before we start to wrap it up, and this one is for Eric. And how is the food in the dining halls generally, and how's the food just around campus?
So the food is great. I lived in Unit 3, so I was in what I always use, Cafe 3 is what it's called. And Cafe 3 used to be all vegan. Now it's more for everyone, but it used to be all vegan. Every single food option there was amazing, even the ones that were vegan. I'm not vegan, but I looked at that and was like, okay, I'll eat that. And it was actually pretty good. And that is across our different dining halls. And one thing that I really like about Cal Dining is that they're really accommodating to different dietary restrictions, whether that's kosher, whether that's vegan, whether that's gluten-free. They're able to accommodate it in what's already established in the dining hall. And if you have a very specific dietary restriction that doesn't work with what's already there, you can actually work with the people at the specific dining hall, and they'll have a plan for you to get a meal that works for you, because you are paying for that meal plan. And they're all amazing meals that we have a university nutritionist who makes them, or who partners with our university chefs. And I don't know, I think it's excellent. But off campus, there's even more to explore. Just around the Telegraph District, which is right off of campus, there's a ton of different food places, local Bay Area places. Not a bunch of just McDonald's, Taco Bell. We do have a Taco Bell. I do love Taco Bell, but there's more than that off of our campus and into downtown. So you'll never have a shortage of things to eat. Well, also with off-campus housing, there's an app that was developed by Berkeley students called Snack Pass, and you can use Snack Pass to order ahead in restaurants and get different coupon codes and meal credits, and that's something that I really like. And it was made by our Berkeley students for us to enjoy the food around Berkeley even more. So, just a quick plug for that.
Thank you for that. And now we're going to be moving on to our closing question. Why Berkeley? What is your Berkeley story? So let's start with Seneca and then go on to Eric.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely very personal to each of us, I think. For me, my Berkeley story was kind of weird. It was on Facebook. I'll explain what that means. But basically, I had visited the different schools I was considering, and I was really torn because all of them were really cool, and I wasn't really sure which one I wanted to go with. And so I decided to join the incoming class Facebook page for each of those schools. And I really was able to see what my future classmates would be like, how they think, what sort of things they were involved in. And I think that for me, that was really cool. It was very inspirational to see just these incredible, unique, diverse people from all sorts of places and who had all sorts of interests. And for me, just the Berkeley page really stood out because I saw all these people and I was like, wow, I could really learn from these people. I could grow with them, and I really want to get to know them because they seem fun and they seem like people that I would be friends with. And so I don't really know how to fully describe it in words because it was just a very oh my gosh, this is the spot kind of experience. And so I highly, highly recommend, if you are ever deciding between schools and it's really, you're just trying to find one other perspective, join those incoming Facebook pages and read through all the people who are searching for roommates, see what they're interested in, and think, will I grow with these people? In 4 years, am I going to be happy that I chose here? Am I going to have grown into the person that I wanted to be? So yeah, that is why I chose Berkeley, and I literally never have ever regretted it. It is an awesome place, as we can all attest.
I love Seneca's story, and now that I'm at a my last year at Berkeley, I can kind of connect some of those things that Seneca said. So I always knew I was going to leave Fresno for college, not because I hated it. I love growing up there, but I wanted to go out and explore. I thought I was going to go to the East Coast. Then I was like, just kidding. That's too far. I don't like the East Coast. I'm going to stay in California. So I was deciding between UCLA and Berkeley. I chose Berkeley after coming to our big open house event, partly because I had no idea what I wanted to do. But I knew that after coming to Cal, after seeing everything that the campus could offer, like at its full force, I knew that whatever I did here would be amazing. And I turned out to be true. I had no idea what I was going to major in. I thought I was going to do poli-sci. Ended up in our College of Natural Resources, and now I love that. But especially the people here is one of the big things that also drew me. Like, people here are amazing. They all have done amazing things for their communities, their families. They are super passionate about something. And like, there's people in line to be your next Nobel laureates, that kind of thing. I know I'm not going to be your next Nobel laureate, but like, that's the kind of student that we have here that lifts you up. And like Seneca said, looking at everyone that I've met at Berkeley so far, I know that I'm a different person than I am than when I started here. And I know I'm the person that I want to be after I leave here from Berkeley. And it's all just because of the people here. So again, I've never regretted my decision. And yeah, I love going here to Berkeley. Go Bears.
Thank you so much for sharing your Berkeley stories. We are going to be wrapping up our presentation right now, but you can go ahead and contact us if you'd like to know some more information. Please follow us on social media on Instagram at Visit UC Berkeley. You can go ahead and email us if you have any lingering questions, any questions of yours didn't get answered, you just want to talk to a campus ambassador. We also have a blog that shares student experiences from ambassadors like ourselves. We talk about our lives on campus, what the culture is like. There's also a recorded version of the virtual visit that is available on our website and also on our YouTube channel, so please go ahead and check that out. As mentioned early in the tour, we are celebrating 150 years of women at Berkeley, so if you'd like to discover more about that, please visit 150w.berkeley.edu. And if you would like to learn more about our chancellor's message and how our campus is dealing with COVID-19, please go follow the links below to find out more information on how our campus is changing in the current circumstances. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. And with that, we're going to give a Go Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears!
Bears!
I hope that you all have a wonderful day.